Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the People's Game with myself and Shane. Shane, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm all right, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, good. Obviously, this is our first video of the week. There should have been one earlier, but my computer decided the video file was corrupt. So we'll do our best to kind of cover everything.
Yes.
So I guess just quickly summing up the review of the week. Not too many, I guess, shock, horror, surprises.
Except
We
Arsenal
did,
winning.
yeah, Arsenal won, which was good. We had a bit of a laugh, not really a laugh, but we kind of talked about the Tanganga red card, and I mean, he should keep his head a little bit better, but it's probably
Yes.
quite hard to do that.
Um,
Our teams both won, even though neither of us thought they played particularly well.
no.
But I was like, that's the side of a Premier League winning team. But, you know, I don't like applying that logic to United. I do for Chelsea. It's just how fans work.
Yes.
There was the Leeds-Liverpool red card. That was a bit of a debate.
I actually want to change my stance. I don't think it's a red now.
Oh, do you not? Okay,
No.
because I don't either, because he did win the ball. It's an interesting one. And it's probably something we could talk about in depth for a while. So if you guys have an opinion on this, then obviously let us know in the comments, because it is a hot topic. I get why people are saying it's a red. I totally get why people don't think it's a red. It's a very interesting topic. So let us know. Then I think that was pretty much it. Obviously Ronaldo's homecoming. That was a pretty big deal.
Yes.
And I can't remember the last time I've seen a crowd be that excited for something. It was genuinely insane. I mean, even as a non-Manchester United fan, I was a bit excited. I won't lie. I'm glad he didn't score more than 2, because I was contemplating taking Lukaku out of my fantasy team for Ronaldo. So I'm glad they scored the same amount. That somewhat makes me not feel bad about my decision.
You've actually just reminded me. I actually need to change my fantasy team, so I'll be doing that.
Aha, there we go. I'm glad I could help. Do you know what? I was just happy. I scored above average last week. So that doesn't happen very often.
I lost that on points because Mason Mount didn't play.
No, he didn't get me any either. I think I just had some absolute belters. But you know, we'll take it. Yeah, that was about it, I think. My flop of the week was Tottenham. I mean, it couldn't not be.
Yeah, mine was Tyrone Mings for the back pass.
Understandable.
I was gonna go Tottenham, but for the sake of,
I felt a little bit bad. I stole your answer.
For the sake of not having the same thing, it's.
Then I'm pretty sure I went highlight of the week. I think I gave it to Everton, mainly just because they've had a really good start. And I do think it's quite impressive what Benitez has been able to pull off. But I did make a special mention for Aston Villa, because although they lost, the scoreline was very flattering to us. They played a formation different to what they normally do, just to go toe-to-toe with us. And to be honest, for about 80% of the game, they played it better than we did. So big creds to Villa. I think they're really unlucky to lose that 3-0.
Yeah. And I went for the Ronaldo homecoming. Bit biased, but...
I mean, it's understandable. Of all the times I think you have an excuse to be biased, I'd say this is probably up there. There we go, camera. Thank you for focusing. Right, cool. That was a really quick rundown. I'm really sorry. It would have been a whole video, but my computer go boom, boom. So before we get into previewing the next set of fixtures, which is very rapidly approaching, because Newcastle Leeds playing tomorrow, which means we have to turn this round even quicker. Oh, goodness, it's all stress in the People's Game office. So we're going to really quickly touch on some of the Champions League games. We're going to stick to the games that involved the English teams. Obviously, if we'd had a bit more time and potentially already had a video up this week, we could have probably run through the whole thing. So hopefully we'll do that going forward, but we will see. So first game, which involved an English team, I could see Reddit a bit unhappy with this. As always, when it comes to anything Manchester United, I will let you have the floor with this. I know you've been quite excited to get this rant off your shoulders. But obviously we had young boys winning out 2-1 against 10-man Manchester United. Now, just before you get into full ranting mode, because I can feel the tension in this call. It's palpable. The Young Boys Stadium has a bit of a suspect name. It's called like the Wankdorf Stadium or something. And I mean, I know it's bad that you lost to them, but I think that should give you a bit of comfort. Anyway, my man, feel free to take it away.
I'm gonna apologize for any young listeners watching because I will be swearing.
Any young boys watching this,
yes.
really sorry. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. For fuck's sake. Okay. Look, the pitch is not an excuse, right? I do feel like not being funny. If you're in the Champions League, you don't need artificial pitches. I don't know why, but no excuse. We had to play on it, right? Whatever. What I don't understand is we were playing absolutely dog shit anyway before Ronaldo scored. Right? Obviously, he scores again. Brilliant pass from Bruno. Ronaldo tucks it in. Again, maybe keeper could have done a little bit better. Okay. Then the first talking point, the Wan-Bissaka red card. Now, in this day and age, it's a red. I'm not going to dispute that. However, Wan-Bissaka, you need a new fucking first touch. It's actually starting to piss me off. Like, I don't understand. You used to be a winger. What is wrong with you? Right? The thing that gripes me though is I actually think the player rolling on the floor like he's been shot made up the referee's mind because he was actually thinking about it. It probably would have gone to VAR and it probably would have gone as a red card in this day and age, right? I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
But it actually pisses me off when a player rolls on the floor, banging the turf in like they got a shot, and then the 2 seconds later they're back up and running. Oh, you're fine now, aren't you?
Theatrics are always annoying, aren't they?
Right.
It's
now, this is where Ollie has to take a lot of shit, right? Because I'm sorry, but I understand the Sancho comes off for Delo needs to happen. I get that. That substitution, I get, right? Okay, I had a feeling Varane would have come on because, just to show up the back and everything. I sort of understood it. But then I thought about it and it's just like, well, hold on a second. Why are we doing this? They're a Swiss pub team. Why are we doing this? Right? And then I don't understand it. Why the F are you keeping Fred on when we need to make a few simple passes together, right? So the ball doesn't keep coming back to us, and you take off our best midfield passer in Van der Beek because Pogba's on the left to keep Fred on because he's a workaholic. Fred can't pass. Oh my God. He couldn't even hand me a sweep. He'd go around a whole circuit before giving it to me. The bloke cannot pass. Then you take off Fernandes and Ronaldo. Why? Again, okay, take off Ronaldo, but put Greenwood on. Don't put Lingard on. And then you take off freaking Fred for Martial. Why? I don't understand it. Right, so he has massive questions to ask, massive questions. And look, obviously Lingard cost us the game with a stupid back pass. Stupid back pass, and it's the last minute of the game. Boot it forward. I would have took a draw with 10 men.
Yeah, it's never a bad result, is it? If you make it full time.
Just the only good thing, right? The only good thing that happened is the fact that Atalanta Villarreal ended in a draw.
Yes.
Right?
Obviously, there was a red card in that game, which I didn't know about. But yeah, 2-2 between the teams.
I tell you now, if one of them teams would have lost their game, I would have said to you right there and then today, we're not qualifying.
This is fact. He did say this to me in pure rage.
Playing like that. West Ham, even without Antonio, which we'll get into, will wipe the floor with us.
You think it was that bad?
It was so bad. I've never seen us play. This was like levels of Istanbul last year when we lost to them.
Yes, I do remember the
Like,
absolute uproar that was.
I just don't understand it. Look, I'm not gonna say Ollie out. I'm not gonna put the fully blame on Ollie because he doesn't tell Wan-Bissaka to get sent off, and he doesn't tell Lingard to do that back pass. Yes, okay, he moved Lingard into the midfield, but he still doesn't tell him to do that back pass.
Yeah.
Right, which annoys me because our defense was actually doing okay. The reason why we got under so much pressure is because we couldn't string a pass together. But you know what? Whatever. If we don't win our next game, I don't think we'll qualify.
Not feeling good about it.
I'm not feeling good about it.
I didn't get to watch the game live. In kind of watching the highlights and seeing other people's kind of commentary on the game, it does look like for kind of most of the time you guys were defended well considering you're a man down. And it is obviously unfortunate, like you said, it's just kind of simple player error, right? That red card. If Man United have 11 men against Young Boys and you're 1-0 up, I don't see you guys not winning that, surely.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Lingard thing, it's really unfortunate. It's almost kind of reminiscent of that Tyrone Mings incident against Chelsea, where it's just tiny errors like that when obviously when you're performing at like the highest stage of the game, it's little things like that you can't afford to have happen. So it is unfortunate.
And the pretty much like the icing on the cake really is this game proved why every single United fan were crying out for a CDM.
Yeah.
Right. It's just that game is just a perfect example of why we wanted one. Unfortunately, we didn't get one. If we're waiting for next summer, like I just don't understand why we couldn't just go get one. Okay, fair enough. We probably wouldn't have got Declan Rice, which is the player that Solskjaer wants.
Yeah.
But like maybe go for a Basuma from Brighton or something.
Basuma would be a great signing if you can get him out of Brighton.
Just someone to just like even someone on loan for a season. But it is what it is. Thankfully, it was the first game, and again, thankfully, the other game ended in a draw. But we should never be losing to a team like them. Ever.
No, it's just not. It's not an ideal way to kick off the campaign, is it? I suppose. Yeah, I get that. It's obviously frustrating. To be fair, though, I think obviously in the review we did, which doesn't exist anymore, I think you summed it up really well. Where I think Man United this season are almost going to be like that Liverpool team that made it to the Champions League final before they brought in Alisson, where you would probably score like 3-4 against them. They'll just score 5 or 6 against you. So, without that kind of solid rock of a CDM in your team, I can potentially see that being kind of how this season might go for you guys. But yeah, I mean, it's an annoying result, but you guys have a good team. I still fully back you to hopefully get out of that group.
I mean, I hope so, but I think the second game will show a lot.
I mean, the Champions League, I guess case in point, your group from last season, you can never take anything for granted. And when you've only got 6 games to kind of make it count and qualify, you need to be getting everything from each game. So to obviously get off to that start isn't ideal, but like you said, at least it's the first game. You've got time to turn it around. So I'm sure you guys will be okay. Obviously, next English game was my team, Chelsea Zenit. We got a 1-0 win because Lukaku did Lukaku things and scored a header. Again, I don't have BT Sport, so I didn't watch this live, but from kind of looking at the highlights and stuff, it looked like this game was pretty 50-50, to be fair. Okay. It didn't look like we were completely all one way. Let's just have a cheeky look at the stats. Okay, we had a lot more possession than them, a lot more shots. I'm chatting absolute shit. No, our stats look good. It just looked like we maybe weren't as clinical as we could have been. I know a lot of different people had a couple of chances, but so did Zenit. I'm not going to say it was just entirely us all game. But 1-0 win, I'll take it. It's not particularly flashy. It's not fantastic, but, 3 points.
Hey, it's 3 points. Like the big mark is 10 points. So
exactly. I'll take it. I'm happy with that. Next 2 games. God, I feel like all English teams have been involved in some incredible games except Chelsea. Ours was a bit boring. Obviously, Liverpool played AC Milan. Oh my God. Liverpool had to pull off another epic comeback against Milan and got it done, winning 3-2. Again, I haven't got around to watching the highlights of this, but I can only imagine that was quite entertaining. So I'm sure that would have been good. And then Man City, Leipzig, again, haven't seen this one, but the highlights video is almost 13 minutes long, so it sounds juicy.
Yeah, 6-3. Jesus.
Yeah, Leipzig had a player sent off and it ended 6-3. What?
Yeah, so the lack of striker means nothing for City, I guess.
Apparently not, but then they kind of have their moments where against Leicester it seemed like it did, but then in this game it really seemed like it didn't. So, I don't know. Bit of a weird one. I mean, if this isn't the definition of clinical, they had 8 shots on target and scored 6.
As you do.
Either they've been ridiculously clinical or the Leipzig keeper has had an absolute stinker.
Yeah.
But that would be like a Kepa performance if he's faced 8 shots and let in 6 goals. So that would be bad.
But that was the English teams in the Champions League.
Yeah, that was them.
I guess the only thing I do want to mention is obviously Barca losing 3-0 to Bayern Munich. Standard Lewandowski doing Lewandowski things, and Barcelona just looking
seems
poor.
A little bit sad that result was as predictable as it was. Like, did anyone actually have Barca winning that game going into it?
No, I didn't.
Which is kind of sad, right? Because I feel like I've obviously grown up looking at Barcelona as like the pinnacle of football, and now it's just like, yeah, they'll just get beaten.
Yeah, and then like obviously Koeman's now under a lot of pressure.
Big time.
Yeah, obviously. So obviously, before anything, I do want to mention obviously probably first big sacking of the season, quote unquote, was Chris Hughton getting sacked by Forest.
That totally slips under the radar for me. Crikey.
So
he's gone already.
He got sacked by Nottingham Forest.
Oh dearie me.
Already.
Wow. Yikes. That's not good.
So, and obviously Sean Dyche signed a new contract.
Go on, Dyche. He's going to keep Burnley in the Premier League for another 10 years. Only other thing I guess I want to really quickly mention about the Champions League is somehow PSG, who started Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, drew with Club Brugge.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that is Simon Mignolet, who plays in goal for Club Brugge.
Simon Mignolet kept those 3 out. Oh my Lord.
Basically said that he only had to face 2 or 3 shots, and it actually wasn't that hard.
What an absolute champion of the people. Wow. Simon Mignolet, absolute troll, ladies and gentlemen.
So just a quick thing, I can understand why Hughton got sacked 7 games in, and they've got 1 point.
Oh, that's tough. Oh, yeah, that's not... Okay, that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, if you're watching this, I highly doubt you are, but I'm really sorry, mate. That's not...
So quick touch on British sides in the Europa League. Rangers are currently losing 2-0 to Lyon. Leicester and Napoli are 2-2. Leicester were 2-0 up in that game, by the way.
That does sound like it'd be a wicked game to watch, to be fair. That'd be amazing.
Let's see. Celtic lost 4-3 to Real Betis.
Yes, I've been hearing about this. It's been very dramatic.
West Ham won 2-0. Fair play to them. Antonio scored. What a surprise!
Of course he did. Who else even scores?
And I think that's it for the British teams. The Conference League, Tottenham drew 2-2.
Was it Stan Rene? Yeah.
Rennes.
Yeah, not Rennes.
Yes.
Excellent. Obviously, like I said, we probably would cover this in a lot more depth had we already had another video gone up.
Yes.
We haven't. So
Stupid Karen.
we'll do better next time, I promise. Right, so moving on to this weekend's games. They obviously start tomorrow with a big game between Leeds and Newcastle. Now, obviously, we did touch on this slightly in the preview, mainly just for Leeds sides of things, because obviously just looking through their opening games of the season, where are we? So they got 1 point, they got another point there, and then they lost on the opening day. So 2 points from 4 games. That's not disastrous. But considering how well they did last season, you'd really be hoping they pick up a win here against Newcastle. Or, again, like we said, which has now been deleted, questions might have to be asked as to whether teams have just figured out how Leeds play football and how to work around it. I do think this might be a bit dangerous for Leeds because, I mean, obviously they will throw the kitchen sink at you, but if there's one thing a Steve Bruce Newcastle loves, it's a counter-attack with obviously St. Maximin, Callum Wilson, etc. So,
assuming Wilson's fit, I don't know about
true.
that.
He was he injured for last game as well?
Yeah, against us, he was, yes.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna predict a Leeds win. And I'm actually ready to make notes this time because I totally forgot last time. But we'll ignore that. So I'm going to go...
We keep things professional here.
Leeds win 2-1. Yeah, I know. Only taken us 6 episodes, but we get there in the end. I'm going to go Leeds win 2-1. I'm going to go with that. I don't think it's going to be perfect because have Leeds ever had a clean sheet? Probably. Don't make me look stupid. But I never feel like Leeds are going to go into a game and not concede a goal, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Oh, you know what? I actually can't believe I'm going to say this.
He's not going to go for the spicy Steve Bruce win, is he?
I'm going to go 3-1 Newcastle.
Oh my God, he's gone for it.
For some reason, I just picture St. Maximin having a field day. I just think he's going to have one of those games.
See, this is what I mean. This is what's worrying me if I was a Leeds fan or something, because Newcastle love a counter-attack. They just love it. And if there's one thing I think you've got to be scared of as a Leeds fan in the way you play, it's got to be a counter-attack, hasn't it?
You know what? If this game ends up 0-0, I swear to God.
I'm kicking off. I've had enough. Stream Deck's going out the window.
There's no way this game's going to end 0-0.
But it can't. It cannot.
You know what? The only reason I'm also going for this is actually, I think going forward, I think Newcastle have looked better than Leeds so far.
Yeah.
It's just the problem that Newcastle have is just they can't keep goals coming out of their net.
No,
going into
that's the problem.
But I said, you know what? St. James's Park will probably be rocking.
It always is. They love it up there.
I'm just gonna give them, and like going forward against Liverpool, these didn't look too great, which is a bit of a concern. But I get you're playing Liverpool, but I expect more from a Leeds side. I'll go 3-1 Newcastle. I can't believe it.
It's on the Google Doc now, mate. There's no backing out of this.
Yeah.
So the early kickoff on Saturday takes us to Wolves Brentford. Obviously, again, Wolves had a bit of an interesting start to the season. Finally got their first win. And on the other side of the coin, Brentford got their first loss of the Premier League season. So that's interesting. I guess we've got two teams with, slightly different moods in the camps going into this. I think Brentford are going to bounce back. I still think Wolves are going to play well, like they have every game of the season. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Oh, that's not bad.
I'm also backing Jimenez to get his first goal since he's come back. But I think I've said that every single game week and it's not happened yet. But this is the one, I believe. Brentford are going to let it in because they're nice.
I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know.
I think Wolves will score their first goal at Molineux.
Okay. Oh my God, they haven't scored a goal at Molineux yet. Jeez.
But I gotta give Brentford some credit. They've been playing well.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't know. Let's go Jimenez and Tony, the obvious ones.
Jimenez and Tony, like it. So next we have a genuine big 6-pointer. Norwich versus Watford. Oh, the faith in the people's game camp has been very much with Norwich, and so far it hasn't entirely paid off. I won't lie. Do we think they'll get it done this week? Well, it depends which Watford turn up. I think.
I'll put it this way: if Norwich, you know what? I would have just said if Norwich don't even get a point, they're going to get relegated. But I actually feel if they don't win this game, they're going to get relegated.
Yeah, I think they need something good, and they need it like yesterday. But now we'll just kind of have to.
Watford have been playing okay. Watford beat them last season. I don't trust Norwich's defense. I just don't. And
that's hurts. The problem, isn't it? Is I want to give them credit, but I don't trust them. Not.
I'm gonna show my faith. 2-1 Norwich.
Oh, he's gone for it.
Oh, I have to keep my faith. My family. I just for my family's sake. I'm going 2-1. 2-1 Norwich.
I am gonna go.
I'm just banking on Carrow Road, pushing them over the line.
You know what? Let's go for a bit of a weird one. I think it'll end in a draw, but I think it's going to be an absolute goal fest. I'm going to go 3-3.
Ooh, 6 goals.
I think so. I think there's going to be a lot in this. I think both teams are going to be a bit leaky, and no one's going to just be able to push themselves over the edge. Let's go for it. Why not? What's going to happen? Mm-hmm. So from one relegation 6-pointer to another is Arsenal Burnley. That seems a bit hard. Burnley host Arsenal. I don't want to meme on Arsenal any more than I have to. That was a lie. But I do just kind of worry a bit for them. They're just going to get bullied off the park here by Burnley. Because Burnley are a physical team. And
they beat them last season at the Emirates, I think.
That's what I mean. I just don't know if this Arsenal team is going to be up for it. You know, like I mean, they're probably going to be up for it, but whether they're going to be up for like the physical matchup that is a game against Burnley. This isn't just a regular game of football. You have to be ready for like a bit of MMA to be chucked in there. You know, like
Burnley will be probably on a high with Sean Dyche signing that contract.
Exactly, that's good. How's Burnley's form going into this? Because they haven't started particularly well.
I lost 3-1 to Everton, lost 2-0 to Liverpool, but did play well. Due to, was it 1-1 with Leeds?
Yes, they've got a point so far. But I mean, if they're going to be up for a scalping of a big team, then why not make it Arsenal?
You can have the floor first.
How much faith do I have in Chris Wood? Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna go with Arsenal to win 2-1. Because I think a win is a bare minimum for Arsenal in this game. I think if they come away with anything other than a win, it's not good enough, and it's time to go. Yeah, I think they're going to win it, but I think it's going to be scrappy. I think it will be like 2 counter-attacking goals, and Burnley will physically bully them. That is a thing that I can see coming.
I'll go 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. Okay. Okay.
Yes, we can back you, Arsenal. It's not just pure banter.
We don't purely back. It's a lot, not purely.
Yeah.
So that takes us to Man City Southampton. Could it be another 9-0? No, I don't think so. This feels tough because
Who's at home? Is it City?
yes, it's at the Etihad.
Yeah, I do find it funny. Guardiola did speak out saying, "Fans, we need you after that performance. We need you this weekend."
I did see this,
which I find funny because the Etihad is hardly ever full.
The amount of memes that City fans have thrown at them, and then you always get the City fans that are like, "No, it's not true. It's just a meme." And then Pep Guardiola comes out and says that. And I get why he's doing that, but that does not help. That doesn't help a lot. I'm gonna go with my big upset for the weekend. I'm gonna go Southampton 2, Man City 1. I think the non-clinical Man City is going to turn up, which they sometimes do, rather than the absolute ruthless Man City that scores for fun. So I'm going to go for the Hassan Hootel masterclass. Southampton 2-1 winner.
Man City 5-0.
This is the problem. I can see both happening. It just depends which City team.
I just think City. I think City are still pissed off from the Tottenham match.
Oh God, yeah.
I think they're still pissed. And I think just Southampton's midfield hasn't got a chance, and I can't give them an upset. The midfield is just too much.
Listen, I'm fully aware this might be a Chris Wood hat-trick 2.0, but we move. So next off, we have Liverpool at Anfield against Crystal Palace. Now, this one I do find quite interesting. Obviously, Liverpool will be looking to continue their good start in the league because they are doing well. But obviously, Palace are probably still going to be riding high from that game against Tottenham. So I suppose if there's any time you want a game against Liverpool at Anfield, it might as well be whilst you're kind of on a high, right? Not after maybe their not ideal start at the start of the season. Edouard looks like he's settled in quite comfortably. I can't go for two big upsets in a row, can I? Couldn't be me.
Oh, while you think about it, I'm going 3-1 Liverpool.
Going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Salah to bag a couple. He's on form.
Is Salah ever not on form? Like, has he ever had?
It just makes you wonder. Like, will Liverpool meet his demands and give him that contract?
I think they should do. To be honest,
well, I think they'll be stupid to not.
As players go, I feel like.
There is one thing I do want to touch on about Liverpool. Actually,
go on.
This whole Alexander Arnold right back or midfielder debate that's been going about.
Oh, okay. So where do you sit on this? Because I look at his skill set and I do think he would do a fantastic job in midfield. But I mean, obviously, what do you think? Do you prefer him in that right back role? Do you think he should just stay there, or do you think is that something to be explored?
Liverpool right back. Mm-hmm. I don't want him right back for England though.
No, I think he works incredibly well in the Liverpool system.
Yeah.
But if they're not playing exactly like that, then whether he fits in or not is, I guess, a bit more like debatable.
Like for England, I'd rather have like Reece James there, Kyle Walker, just someone more because Trent's biggest weakness is his defending. It's not exactly great. Going forward, he's insane.
Oh God, yeah.
And this is why this whole thing is kind of awkward because I personally see him as a midfielder. Okay. I think he would do better in midfield. But I think for the way Liverpool work, I think him being right back suits them.
Yeah, I think I kind of tend to agree. I think his skill set could very easily be applied to midfield, and I think he'd do a good job in midfield.
Like honestly, like I think it's been well known. Like if England had a player that had Trent's attacking ability and Wan-Bissaka's defensive ability, we'd have the perfect right back.
Oh god, yeah, it'd be gorgeous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but unfortunately we don't have that. But
unfortunately,
yeah.
they're two different people. How very selfish. That's not cool. Obviously, again, let us know your thoughts in the comments below on that. Let us know. Do you think Trent's right back? Do you think he's midfielder? Do you think he's a goalkeeper? Maybe not. So next we have.
What did you go for, by the way?
Oh, I didn't tell you. I'm thinking quite similar. I'm going to go Liverpool to score 3, but I think Crystal Palace are going to get 2. I'm still going to go Liverpool win 3-2, but I think Palace are going to be in good spirits. They've obviously played well, not quite got the results. Now they finally have against a Tottenham team that were doing well. So I think that's going to count in their favour and they'll do all right. So Aston Villa, Everton.
This is going to be a good game.
If Villa play anything like what they did against us, they should be fine. Because, and I cannot state this enough, because again, I don't, obviously I was buzzing with the 3-0 win, but I do not want to not credit Aston Villa because they were genuinely so good in this game. I guess if they were just maybe a bit more clinical and Edouard Mendy didn't have a ridiculous 90 minutes in net, then we could be looking at a very different result there. But Everton are also in really good form and looking pretty solid. And Rafa Benitez is certainly getting a good tune out of those guys. Just because it's at Villa, I'm going to go a Villa 2-1 win. This is tough, but then I also feel like it's kind of written on the wall that it's going to end 0-0 and be a terrible 90 minutes of football.
I'm going to go the other way, 2-1 Everton.
2-1 Everton, okay.
I think Pickford will make a clanger.
All right.
But you know what? Like, I don't see Villa playing as well as they did against Chelsea.
Well, do you think that was like up against a big team? We're up for it. Let's get them. Yeah, fair.
I just think Benitez is. I just think for some reason I've got it in my head that Everton might not lose until they play Liverpool.
Oh, the Benitez master plan.
But like but we'll see. But yeah, 2-1 Everton.
No, fair. That game could go either way. And like I said, I feel like now I've said that, it is just going to be a 0-0. Shocking 90 minutes. They both just walk away the point. Another exciting game next. Brighton hosting Leicester City. Leicester have been really interesting this season because I feel like I've expected a lot more from them. Not that I expected them to beat City, and obviously to lose that is unfortunate. They beat Norwich, but didn't look amazing. Obviously, there was that game against West Ham that was an absolute clanger before they had someone sent off, and it only got worse after that. And then they beat Wolves on the opening day 1-0, which again, it was all right, but I haven't seen a lot from them. Whereas Brighton are looking pretty hot this season. I'm going to go with the Graham Potter masterclass. I'm going to go 3-1 Brighton. That seems a bit brave, but I've said it now. I can't take it back. You're Chris Wood all over again.
I'm going to go 2-0 Brighton.
Also going for the win.
Brighton. I'm going Brighton. I just think they're playing well. And because I don't know what Leicester are going to turn up.
Brighton are playing well. They seem to be playing a lot better now the fans are back.
Yeah.
They're at home. And I haven't seen enough from Leicester so far.
That's my problem. It's just Leicester have been so wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And like, just obviously, by the time we're recording, they drew 2-2 with Napoli. Okay, it's Napoli, but like you're 2-0 up and you can see, it's You
not seeing
know,
out games. They've done a Newcastle.
I think Brighton deserves a bit of credit. So just give them the 2
Brighton are a
0.
good team. I can see them walking away with this one. I think it's a game that Leicester need to not take for granted. I think they need to not turn up and be like, we're going to win this, because Brighton are a bloody good football.
I think I'll have more faith in Leicester if they score first.
Yes, I get that. I think they'll be comfortable from a winning position. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot. It might even be one of those games that, like first team that scores wins it kind of thing. Because that, there's a lot of football games do turn out like that. You just get such a boost from that first goal. Who knows? We'll see. Obviously, the last 2 games, the ones we care about the most, not that we're allowed to be biased at all. Manchester United travelling to the London Stadium. Now, if a certain man hadn't been red carded in the last game, I would see this as a bit more 50-50. And again, you might see this differently after the young boys' performance. But we're finally going to get the question answered of what West Ham do without Mikel Antonio. I'm intrigued. And I think it's going to be one of those things that it'll either work really well and we'll all be like, oh, they're fine without Antonio, or it's going to be an absolute ham sandwich of a performance. I'm going to go with a United 2-0. 2-0? Yeah, let's go United 2-0 win, I think. I'm also going to put in brackets controversial red card. I can feel it. Controversial red card. Let's go for it. Let's put my neck on the line.
For some reason, my head is going 2-1 West Ham.
It'd be a very West Ham result.
And the reason being, it's just like, it would just be like, it'd be some weird result for us to lose our away record, and then it'd even be worse since Antonio's not there.
Big man Davey Moyes taking away the record.
I think McTominay's going to play because he's back.
Would you prefer McTominay over Fred?
Yes.
Just really quick questions. Obviously, CDM options. You got McTominay, Fred, Matic. What's your order of priority of those 3?
If Matic was younger, I'd put him top.
Yes,
but I'd go McTominay, Matic, Fred.
You'd still put Matic over Fred?
Yes. The only reason I'd put McTominay is just like he's more of a workhorse than both of them combined, I think.
Yeah.
He's not a better passer than Matic, but he's a better passer than Fred.
Yeah.
And I would trust McTominay to bag a goal over the other 2.
No, fair. I mean, obviously being a Chelsea fan, I can appreciate Matic. He's an incredible player, but like you said, he's not necessarily the player he used to be. I'm
going to go 2-0 United.
2-0 United, okay.
Greenwood to score 1.
Oh.
And I'm going to throw Varane to score his first.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Or put in brackets, maybe dodgy penalty.
Maybe. All right, you're also feeling or potential dodgy penalty.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to look great or really stupid next week. We will find out. Then finally, we got a London derby between the Hotspur Tottenham and Chelsea Football Club. Now, I'm feeling pretty confident about this. But there's been so many times in the past when I've said that and then been made to look like a right tit. I'm going to go with this not being one of those occasions. I'm going to go with a Chelsea 3-1 win. Let's go for it. Lukaku brace and a Marcus Alonso goal, because he loves a goal against other London teams. You know what it is? He always scores against Arsenal, and he has scored a couple against Tottenham. So, yeah, I'm going to go for it. Chelsea 3-1, Lukaku brace, and a Marcus Alonso goal as well.
Okay, shock of the week, 2-0 Spurs.
Oh!
For some reason, I just think they're going to bounce back.
I mean, they might do. You know,
I just have that feeling. Obviously, Tanganga's not going to be there, but like I just have a feeling under Nuno, Spurs are going to do it. Spurs park the bus, get them under the break, and I'm gonna go for a Kane double.
Kane double. Okay. It's one of those things, isn't it? I can see it happening. I can see it going either way. I'm feeling confident. I think we're going to be okay. But this does seem like the kind of game that a Chelsea would slip up in because we love doing stuff like that.
You know what? It's just like I think Chelsea on so much of a high at the minute. I just have that feeling. I wouldn't be surprised it would be Spurs of all teams to hold that.
Yeah, and the one thing I don't want us to do is obviously because things are going well at the moment, and I'm sure Tuchel is probably trying to keep everyone grounded and whatnot. But I don't want us to get like too confident and then be like, oh well, Spurs lost to Palace last week, well hey, and then go in and just get trousered of some description. Now, obviously, I really need us to do well because not to do too much into next week's preview, but our next game is against City. So, good result here would set us up nicely for that.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed that goes okay.
I don't know if Son's going to be back, by the way.
Yeah, see, I think that's the other thing, isn't it? Because how well Kane operates when Son isn't there is very much up for debate.
According to this article, apparently he's in line to make a return.
It's one of those things you never know. At the end of the day, even if Spurs are in the worst form ever, if they have Son and Kane on the pitch, or even just one of them, they've always got a chance, right? So, one of them could pull a moment of brilliance out from anywhere. Nuno does know how to make a solid defensive team as well, so it'll be interesting. Come on, the Chelsea, I believe in you. Right, I have actually got the predictions written down this week. Then, so next week we can actually revisit them. What can I say? I'm really good at
and
this.
watch us be wrong on every single one.
Nah, I believe. Not quite as much as the Chris Wood hat trick, but I mean, listen. I think the problem was I was just a bit too smart with that one. And Chris Wood was like, I don't want to make him pay for that Burnley shirt. I'm not going to do it. Thank you, Chris. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything we needed to cover, I think.
Yes.
Like again, guys, I'm really sorry if this episode has been a bit rushed and we've tried to cram everything in. Like I said, we had a very lengthy other video recorded and it decided to not work. So hopefully that doesn't happen again and we can just cover everything in as much depth as we need to moving forward. That would be super helpful, please, and thank you. So hopefully you're actually seeing this. Also, if it's the first time that you guys are seeing us on your screen, then please hit that subscribe button. It's very much appreciated. And obviously like the video. It helps with algorithms and jazz. And any opinions on anything, ideally football related, but anything in particular, feel free to get in the comments and get at us. We'll respond to them eventually. Obviously, I'll put all of our socials down in the description below. I'll put mine and Shane's individual Twitches down there as well. I'll probably pop our Twitter handles and stuff like that as well, actually, if you want to follow us personally to see what we do in our spare time. It's probably not that interesting.
Yeah, I'm a massive weeb. I'm just pointing it out. So.
He's a weeb. I tweet emo stuff, to be honest. That's about it, really. But if you do want that in your life, then feel free to head over to those Twitters down below. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.